We're ready to fit the saw blade up now. So to start with, we remove the locking nuts from the back here and the bolts out. You will find that over a period of time they can seize up. So a small amount of grease will stop that from happening. Okay, saw blade on. There is only one way that the saw blade can go on. One side the holes are countersunk, the other side they're not. So the countersunk faces out towards you. Just simply slip it on there. Before you put it on, make sure there's no sawdust or dust and dirt on the boss itself and on the back of the saw blade. Just slip him on, position it so that it lines up with the holes. Put your first bolt back in, and just go around and screw them all in. I like to, at the same time as I'm screwing the bolt in, I like to flick the lock nut on the back of it. That's entirely up to you. You can put them on afterwards if you like. Once you've got them all in place, then it's just a matter of tightening them up. Now, you need to tighten them. They do have to be tight, but remember that you also have to undo them at some stage. So all I do with these now is I simply nip them up. I don't take to them with a torque wrench or anything like that. Thumb on the Allen key and just simply come up. A little bit of pressure on them. Need to be tight, but they don't want to be too tight. If you want to do something tight, really tight, then the lock nut. Do him up really tight if you like. He's a lot easier to get off. Oh, we're back at the start. Saw blades on. At this point we've got to put the guard on. When you place the guard on, there is one thing you need to be aware of. There's this little kill switch down here. When you lift the guard off of this machine, this kill switch here cuts out the spark to the motor, and you can't actually start the machine. So while the guard's off, if someone comes over and hits the key, it can't accidentally start up. When you put it back on, you need to make sure that this little teat here has pushed down onto that, so that it's overriding the switch. So we just simply put the guard on by lifting him up over here, slipping the water bottle down alongside the angle iron there, and just dropping him into place. Once you've got it sitting in place, give it a bit of a whack, just so that the button pushes down onto the switch. Come around to the side here now, and simply do this little wing nut up here. This is the hose for the water bottle. You're using water as a cleanant. It's not a coolant. If you run water on your saw blades, it'll keep your saw blade clean. And by keeping a clean saw blade, you'll automatically run a cool saw blade. Some species, when you're cutting, will build up a waxy residue on your saw blade. If you're building up a waxy residue on your saw blade, then you need to run water on it to keep your blade clean. If you're cutting species of timber that don't produce any residue on the saw blade and it leaves it all nice and clean, don't bother with the water. If you're cutting timber that is leaving a big residue on your saw blade, then a little bit of dishwashing liquid mixed into the water will also help clean the saw blade and keep it clean. All we need to do now is put a bit of fuel in the fuel tank, unleaded fuel, and it's all ready to go.